Because at least we're,
Okay, here, take my picture so I can post it later. And I gotta check it.
You want to do it before?
Just pretend like we're doing it. Yeah, it's just gonna be a picture, and then I'll do a post, and then okay, here I'm talking. Could it be like I'm casually talking to you?
Yeah.
There.
Well, you are talking. Look at this side.
Okay, there.
It's more for eyeline purposes.
I'm gonna tell you all about my. How's it look?
It looks good. I'm taking a couple more. I'm taking a portrait mode one.
Should I pretend like I talk with my hands?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my
absolutely.
God. So when I.
There we go.
Okay, perfect.
I
love social media.
I love how programmed we are now. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's just like, oh my God, it's like what else do you need?
I know, right?
But no. So but you were saying you listen to Charlie's.
Oh yeah. So we're not recording, right?
No, we are.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah. No, I like to get this jibber jabber.
Okay.
Get it out of the way.
Okay. So I listened to it. I had no idea that he had that stuff going on at Hofstra. I thought he had like a wonderful Hofstra experience. And I mean, the program's great, obviously, right? And
right.
Great film came out of it. But I texted him. My youngest is figuring out where he's going to go to school, and he's interested in this sort of thing. So I was like, oh, Charlie seemed to have a great experience at Hofstra. And so when I was there at Accepted Students Day, I texted Charlie and sent him a picture. I'm like, I'm at your alma mater. And he never wrote me back. I was like, that was rude. And now I know why. He's probably like, ugh.
I mean, I don't think those environments are really they're very prone to shit happening.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't really surprised, but I was just kind of in a way, I was like, oh man, it's so disheartening.
It was so disheartening.
Nowhere is really safe.
He makes this, I love The Lost Weekend. I think it's so impressive for a student project. And
when he told me it was a student project, when he told me that it wasn't really a micro feature or a feature, I was like, really? I was shocked because the whole time he's promoting it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I expected to be 90 minutes, 70 minutes at that you know what I mean? And I was like, it's a short?
It's a short. He packed a lot in there.
No, he's got a lot of good detail. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was great. Yeah. But it's disappointing that his classmates couldn't be supportive that. They were jealous.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I feel like that's very common.
That's a bummer.
Don't you get jealous over certain things though with our peers, as filmmakers, as people,
I'm just not really a jealous person. There, you'll get I'll get little twinges.
Sure.
Maybe God, I wish that were me. But I'm also, I'm genuinely happy for people.
Well, that's good.
When they do well.
Yeah, that's a good way to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could be that way. That's kind of what I mean by it's a good way to be, so.
Yeah, and sometimes it makes me if there's something that I want, in terms of the filmmaker or whatever, the loftier goals, if I see somebody else doing that, I'm happy for them, but it also makes me work harder.
Oh yeah, no.
Right, I think it's good.
Push yourself.
Motivation.
Yeah,
but not at a, let's try to sabotage some kind of way.
No, I know.
That's terrible.
I know.
But I mean, jealousy is totally normal also.
I know. Well, because maybe it's just because when we recorded that, I was 34 when we recorded that. I've been holding on to that interview for about a year.
Oh, okay.
Just because,
I did think
just because, we were. I mean, he was. Let's see, because he came by. I wanted to do it in September, October, and I got really busy. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I'll just include it in a new batch, And he'd already done, he'd come out here to do Pasadena last year, and we recorded it.
Okay.
And then,
so it was a year ago.
Yeah, it was literally a year ago. And then, it had just done its rounds, it had done more festivals. And then, I was like, I don't know why, I think it was just a timing thing. I wanted to make sure it was good timing, and, and I don't release episodes right away.
Yeah.
With certain people, I like to hold on to it. And so, but yeah, with his though, I forgot what we talked about, and when I revisited it, I was like, oh shit. And he also forgot too.
Did he?
Yeah. And so, but it was really funny though, because we're very as time goes on and you do this, you forget. certain things, but you grow so much in a short amount of time,
right?
You know.
And then the film, it's probably great for him to look back to because the film did.
Oh no,
very
he
well
had a great time.
Yeah,
he's still and he's gotten a ton of work from it, so I'm very proud of him. Too,
he's great. So, he's got a good future.
But what about you though? I mean, let's this is about you. We're celebrating you. So, but how did you guys? I mean, okay, wait, no, let's take it back a few notches. Sure. So you're from. I'm glad we did this in person because doing it over Zoom would have been a nightmare.
Yes.
So this is way easier. So thank you for coming over.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
But so you're from New Hampshire, right?
No.
But now you live in the Boston area, or you're
I'm
from
not from
Boston?
New Hampshire.
Okay.
I'm from,
You got to take me back to you because I know we met in 2018. No, it was a little.
I think it was 2018 or 2019.
It was before COVID.
It was definitely before.
Okay,
COVID.
thank God. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we can start there because that was my very first film festival ever that I met you at. Sherman Oaks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Sherman Oaks in either 2018 or 2019.
Yeah, and that was like when they first started too.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of brand new, you know.
And I was there with a screenplay. I wasn't yet.
Yeah, because I think films. I had a short in there.
You
too.
did. I vaguely remember your short.
I had circles in there or something.
Yes.
Right.
And so for me, going to it was a TV pilot, The Lost Opera, and it won the Grand Jury Prize. So that was really exciting for my first film festival. I'm like, what is this? This is amazing. But the thing that I got the most out of going there was like, I hadn't been around filmmakers, and like it wasn't even my goal. My goal was to have somebody make my material at that point. Right. Like somebody make this pilot, which actually that pilot would cost millions and millions of dollars. So like that's on the table. I set that aside. But what I brought mostly out of that was seeing all these amazing short films that the general public does not.
They don't know.
Usually they don't know them, and I was like, these are so good. And digestible, and just I was so impressed, and so I came away from that. Like at that point, I'd only written feature films and TV pilots, and I was like, why am I not doing this? I have all these, like, I went to college for, as an English major, creative writing. My honors project was a collection of short stories, and I got published after college. And then, but at the time, there wasn't the internet. I'm dating myself a lot.
No, you're good. I mean, trust me. We do that all the time here.
So there wasn't, you didn't get any feedback. So I was getting published. And that was awesome, but I was like, I don't know how people are responding to these, and I think you make art to get feedback, whether it's good or bad, right? So then I started writing bigger projects, whatever, and then eventually turned into screenwriting. And but so I was like, why don't I take all my? I started taking my short stories that I'd already written and turning them into short screenplays, and I was like, this is so fun, and they don't all work, and I had to change some things, to make them cinematic. Right. It's different than, a short story, a literary short story. But my first film, which was The Squirrels in the Attic, that was originally a short story.
I remember that one.
And
yeah.
I saw Antonia last night, who's in it.
Oh, you did? Okay. How's she doing?
She's doing great. She's here. She's in LA.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
So what are the actors in the?
That's exciting.
In the Squirrels in the Attic.
Because Squirrels in the Attic. That was your first project with Lighthouse, right?
Seek Point.
Yes,
okay. Correct. That was that's where we came together.
Because I remember you started this collaboration with them too, and it picked up a little bit, around like COVID time. So that's why I'm like the timeline gets a little skewed for me because you hit such a high point fast. Like you started making things. Like you started off as Squirrels, then you did other things, and then eventually ended up with Fenwick.
Yes.
And now you're promoting. I don't even know which movie you're promoting now.
Well, we're on the Fenwick one. That's what I'm.
This is here for Pasadena. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Because you had another film that you just did, or
that's in post.
That's in post. Okay.
So we're in the editing process.
Yeah. But you took off really fast. Like, what was it exactly that sparked all of that motivation?
That's a great question, and honestly, I think it
did you ever think about that, or was it just like I gotta hit the handle hard? Did COVID really rock you?
It was COVID. because what happened was with Squirrels in the Attic, so we shot in January of 2020. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as it was done, and it was done pretty quickly, so I think we were ready in March. It was literally like
that is a really crazy turnaround
when it happened. Wow. So I was like, and I had been so excited to go to festivals with the film and have people see it. Right. Finally, I was like, I'd been there with screenplays, and I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, so that was obviously very disappointing. But, in the context of the bigger part of COVID happening, I was like, okay, well, I'll just, whatever, I'll suck it up. But as a first-time director, that was, like, a bummer. And so I was like, you know what, if I can't get... And so it was getting in festivals, but they were, they were trying to figure out the virtual thing, and it's obviously not the same experience. I still couldn't see people reacting to my work.
I know, that's what... It killed me, too, trust me. That really turned my fucking head sideways.
Right? Yeah, it was really tough. Yeah. But for me, it motivated me to... and I can't believe I did this now, but I was so... you're cooped up and driven. So I wrote a lot more, but also I was like, you know what? If I can't get to a festival, I'm going to film another one. I did it in July 2020, we shot in the Company of Crows before COVID, before vaccines. And we, it was a good setup where, a lot of that was outside, and even the house we were filming in, it was open inside. It was just I set up little corners. There was nothing in that house, so it gave us a lot of room. Yeah, to be safe.
But you're also like, to be fair, like you were also in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one's really going up. I mean, where would you guys shoot that anyways? It was like
in my town, in Georgetown, Mass.
In Georgetown,
and it's my friend's lake house.
Because it looks. I mean, because second there I was like, is that fucking Cape Cod? Like I don't know my areas up there.
No, it's down the street from my house.
But you have all of these like spots up there which are very like logistically, sound, beautiful.
Yeah,
there's nothing happening. You don't have any noise pollution. Like we have the fucking leaf blower guy out here just now. I was like, really? I was like, of all the times you could fucking do this, and then literally like,
although I have to correct you there so in the Company of Crows, on the lake, it was on a weekend in the summer.
Oh, so people were out.
Oh, there were boats.
Even during COVID.
We had so much stress, and it's supposed to take place in the fall, so the actors were dressed in a lot of clothing. Like it was 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And there was boats circling, and they're like, "What are you doing up there?" Yeah. And so we did have to manage that, and we're like, "Okay, they went down that outside of the lake. Go."
So you guys were really playing Hollywood with like, hey, it's cold outside, but you're wearing jackets. Go.
Yes. And the poor actors. They dealt very well with it.
That's great. That's great. Well, yeah, you have to tell me about this like little like I guess like circus of actors you have up there then. So like okay, but I also want to go back like what I don't know because you've been a writer your entire life, right? In terms
I would say so, yeah.
But we talked about this briefly. I know that you got a writing degree and now you started writing like geological science, meteorological.
Yeah, okay, so that's my real job, which I still have.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Although I'm not going to get political, but
no, of course,
with all the cuts right now, it's affecting our company as well.
Yeah, I mean, how do you? Is it easy to manage? Your creative job and then also your regular everyday life kind of thing. Like what you do creatively, making movies and writing and stuff like that.
That's a really good question, and yes, because
I know you have
my job's a lot, but I also now work after COVID. We all work remotely,
which is great.
The time. So that saves me hours.
That's
of it.
Awesome.
I would go into Boston, which is like a 2-hour commute, even though it's 30 miles.
Wow.
So that has that gained a lot of time for me, so I can still do my job, and I just love the creative part. So I just can't wait to get to that stuff when I'm done with my...
Oh, of course.
I'm never done with my actual job, but when I do the work I need to do, and then I was like, okay, now I get to do the fun stuff.
But family totally gets everything. They kind of give you space to explore and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's easier now because my kids are older. I have 2 that are almost done. Well, one's done with college, one's about to be done with college, and then my youngest is about to go to college. So,
wow, that's awesome.
They're adults.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very it was a lot harder when they were little, obviously.
Right. That's cool though. I mean, then you had time to actually show them, what filmmaking is like.
Yeah.
So they could pursue it in a very positive way.
Absolutely.
Not many people have that opportunity. And,
and they really enjoy that because, like, especially my sons are both, like, my youngest is getting very into it. And he's been in some of my shorts. Both my boys are in my new short. I just give them really teeny parts, and the ones what I call my real shorts, which I shouldn't do that. My shorts with a budget, and then I have my shorts with no budget, and they definitely are prominently featured in those.
I like how you're like, this is my real project. This is my fake project. The fake project is just with family, has no money.
I used to call them fake. I was like, that's not very nice.
Why would you call them fake?
Well, I shouldn't. I stopped doing that.
No, right. But why would you ever call them fake, though? I'm just curious.
Know. And I was like,
well, I mean, people need to know.
Okay, so
by people, I mean,
it feels legitimate if you have a crew and the people you're paying, and I feel like you spend a lot more. It gives it a lot more weight. It feels like, but that's not necessarily true. Like, some of my mobile shorts do extremely well, and they have really great audience reactions. It depends on how. And I know, I think we've talked about this too, like the culture here in LA and back in New England, and I feel like they're a little bit different. Like,
oh no, extremely different.
It's extremely different.
Obviously, I mean, what do? I literally tell people I just spin my wheels for a living. Like, I literally, you know what I mean? It's a lot of just go, because there's no set schedule here in Los Angeles.
Right.
East Coast feels more like you have to have that routine.
Yes.
And even people that I know, like one of my closest friends, he is a writer. He lives out in Boston as well, but he's also an accountant.
Yes.
And so it's like he has a job, he has a kid, a 4-year-old. Shit like that is just like, I can't even imagine, because, I mean, look at me. I'm recording a podcast in my fucking room in Los Angeles. And so when people say, oh, this is my real thing versus my fake thing, I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right. It's very, there's almost nobody I know back home that I work with in filmmaking that doesn't have, there is a group of people who do it for a living, for sure. And there was actually a lot of them on my last set, Dissection Day, which is coming out. And it was such a great crew. It was a great shoot. But like most people that I work with, have other jobs, and this is what we do. On
but this
side.
This is like Western Massachusetts, or where is this?
No, it's like Boston. But Boston, I do work with a lot of people in New Hampshire, and because I'm on the North Shore of Boston. And
how did you find these people?
Well, so the Sea Point boys, well, as I like to call them, they're not boys. But when we did work on the Squirrels in the Attic, they were in college, and I was looking for a producer, and I just was looking up things online because I didn't know. Again, at this point, I know nothing, right? So I'm just trying to figure it all out. And these guys, I was pricing different things out, and I came across their website, which was very professional, and so they gave me a quote, and I was like, what? Why is this so cheap?
Wow.
And then we had a meeting, and I was like, oh, they were in college, so they were looking for experience. But a few of them were going to college for this. So they knew more than I did, It was wonderful. And then we've done, I think 4 films now together. So it's been really, really fun just like growing with them.
Are you still working with Sea Point? Or
yeah, like they were not, this Dissection Day, they were not involved in, only because they're too busy. Now they have real jobs.
That was the one. I got you. Right.
Yeah.
And there was one other project that you did that was like a pilot that won a contest or something. That was a different production company too, right? Those guys are out here.
Oh, you mean yeah. So that was, I think you're talking about Influence.
So you have so many things that are just like, you're like, which one? I'm like, that's a good problem to have.
No, it's really great. So Influence, and that was a really fun experience for me. So that was a screenplay I wrote, originally called The Influencer.
Okay.
And it won the Emerging Screenwriters Shoot Your Short Grand Prize. And that was also during COVID.
Wow.
And it was like, that was, I was so excited. But the grand prize was that, it would get made.
Sure.
But by that point, I had started directing a little bit. I think I had just done In the Company of Crows, and part of the prize directing was not involved. So that was my first experience, being just the writer.
Yeah,
but part of it was really great team. It was Nate Laver from Brontosaurus Films, which is out here, the ISA team, and they involved me in everything. Like, I was in all the pre-production meetings, and I came out for the shoot, and we shot up in Malibu, like up in the hills, which I'm sure that ranch does not exist anymore, sadly. So it was a really different experience working with, somebody else as a director telling your story. But they were so respectful of my writing.
But you got to watch them work.
Yeah.
You get to download everything that they're,
right. Because that's good. It gives you different tools.
Oh, of
also,
course.
like, oh, look at this. And he's such a nice, like, Nate's the greatest, like, chill, like, guy. And, the one thing it did come down to, like, they wanted me to change the end, and and I talk about it a lot, but like, and I did struggle with that a little bit, and I did try to, plead, and they just
kill your darling situation kind of thing,
right?
Yeah.
And they thought my initial ending was too dark, and I sort of was like, isn't that why you chose it as
yeah, exactly.
the winner? But again, it wasn't any kind of contentious. It was kind of a fun, back and forth. Okay. And then, since I wasn't the one, paying for it, I had to. We had to go their way.
Yeah, I know.
But it turned out it's a really great film. But it was really good for me to be in just the writer's shoes, because this happens all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, welcome to Hollywood, right?
Yes.
Yeah, seriously.
You hear horror stories about this, and this is not one of them. But like,
why do they want to change the ending though? Was it just something that they didn't understand, or
no? They understood it. They
wanted
to give some hope.
Oh, okay.
And I'm so dark. I didn't.
The classic happy ending.
It wasn't
thing.
exactly a happy ending. Like it's still dark enough.
Sure, but you compromised.
I wanted the real dark ending.
Yeah, but you had to compromise at a certain point. Yeah,
it's fine. Okay. That's part of that's part of filmmaking too. Collaboration.
End of the day, hey, it got made.
Well, amazing, and I met amazing people. I'm still in touch with them. I'm
That's
having
awesome.
coffee with them later today. Yeah. So. It was a wonderful experience, but very different than directing.
Yeah. How would you say that all of this kind of happened for you? Was it, because this is kind of like, a independent, overnight success, to me anyway, right? Uh-huh. Just because it's like you see the dominoes fall right away, right? It's all of a sudden, it's like you did Squirrels, you did Crows, then next thing you know, it's like you're getting into screenplay competitions, you're doing things, it's just like one thing's happening after another. I have a hard time trying to figure out what you're doing next, because I'm still on the same project that I've been doing since 2021, 2022, and I'm trying to finish it. So it's, I understand that it's not easy doing this stuff, but how do you keep your mind focused on, okay, I'm doing this project, then I'm doing Fenwick, then I'm doing all this other stuff. Oh, I got into a festival. Oh, now this other thing's in a festival. Oh, now they want to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like how do you give credence to all the other things that you've done? Or is it one of those things where it's just like, do you ever see yourself having, like, I know we're getting really dark, but like having a finite sense of time, or do you ever, or is it just like, I have more projects I want to tell, I'm just trying to get them, push them out, because you never know what the fuck is going to happen.
It's kind of a combo of all those. Like, I'm coming in late to the game, so to speak, in terms of the industry, right? And
I guess that makes sense.
I have so much content that I just love telling stories. I just think of myself as I am a storyteller. Like, I think we all are, really. But so it's not a sense of urgency, but it is. I do think, like, I'm already thinking about. I'm a planner. So I'm already thinking about what I'm going to film next. Yeah. Only because I know how long it takes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm literally, like, we just filmed the end of November. Uh-huh. But I already seen, like, I've been in editing for, like, 3.5 months now, like, solid. Mm-hmm. And we're just trying to figure out this one part that's driving me crazy. But, like, we're getting close. But then it'll start, then you start submitting. Because I think about the festival run, because I know you have mixed feelings about film festivals, but they have been extremely helpful to me as someone coming in, first of all, not from here.
No, yeah,
and
absolutely.
also, like,
I agree with
meeting
that.
people.
I agree.
And, like,
there is a time and place for it, yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It is one thing where, on one hand you have to be careful where you submit to, on the other hand you have to also, but then gamble a little bit, talk to people. I mean, really, I'm starting to get back into that, because I'm starting to feel a little bit, more confident about, certain people who I meet. Right. Whether or not they're, like, into the idea of, oh, this is just, appreciation for the arts, or this is appreciation for money, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
You know absolutely. What I mean? Like, I submitted to a film festival, and I'll continue telling this story, for the Sunset Film Festival. I'm calling them out because literally, like, I submitted, I gave them the exact same spiel I give everyone else, sent them, you know, like I paid for the whole thing. So then I was able to literally, I send the same email thread. Hey, this is why you should see my movie, what it's about, what it you know, is similar to all this other, you know, like a little pitch thing. Guy sends me back, what? No hello, no thank you, don't ever send me an email, don't ever talk to me about this again. And I'm like, oh gee, thanks guys. So I'm literally going to just trash talk the shit out of that festival because that's a scam. That is a scam.
And there's a lot
and
of
they
scams.
Exist, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And I've been a part of other film festivals that have been scams out here specifically.
Yeah.
But I know that there are good ones.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
like Jeff runs an amazing festival.
Love Jeff.
And you know, they're just now getting to a point where they're like expanding and they're getting to a better theater. And you know, like they're talking to more people, they're getting more sponsors, like, you know, that's actually something that's like important in the scene.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, and so it takes a while to get there for a festival.
Oh,
right?
1,000%.
You know, you gotta keep growing and growing.
But it does bring really strong, like, I agree, you know, it does bring a good network of people if you're looking for it, if you know how to network.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, and I've been learning, like, you know, beginning, I was, you know, I've gotten much better at it.
Yeah.
Not in a schmarmy way, but like, you know, just like I'm going to go and I'm going to, you know, naturally meet people because you never know where those relationships are going to lead to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And,
I mean,
you know,
when you first started, like, were you scared?
Oh, God, yeah. And I'm like an introvert, which nobody understands.
I get it.
I talk about that all the time. They're like, no, you're not. I'm like, yes, I am. And it doesn't mean I'm like, I love people, but like...
but it takes a minute to kind of break out.
Yeah, and I like, I gain my energy from being alone, which is why I'm a writer. Right. You know, so after I've gone to a social something, like, I'm exhausted usually, but... in a good way. It's not bad. But, yeah, and in the beginning, especially knowing nothing about filmmaking, it was like, it's so funny. I remember a lot of the first festivals, I didn't know what people were talking about. Like, the first time I heard DP, I was like, what are they talking about? And then I would like go back to my room and just like look, I'd like take mental notes and then just look up all the stuff that people were talking about. It was like I was just teaching myself.
Oh wow!
Like,
yeah.
But meanwhile, standing there pretending like I'd be like,
No, that's really cool though. Yeah, because there's so many bullshit artists out there. They'll just be like, oh yeah, no, I
never talked about it. No.
I've heard, you know, cinematographers say DP, DOP. Videographer, camera guy, like, you know, there's so many different, like, nobody knows the lingo, you know what I mean?
There's this whole lingo of that, you know,
and
you get used to it after a while, but at the beginning it was like foreign, very foreign, but
I get it.
So I'm much more comfortable now.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm much more comfortable, like, you know, Q&As used to super freak me out. And now I'm like, you know, as long as you prepare, you know.
Yeah.
You're like,
you had those little stress
moments.
Tingles,
but that's normal.
Oh, for sure,
for everybody.
But I mean, you know, you do good work though. You know, I mean, how old are these? Like, are these stories older stories? Are they you know, new stories that are coming that, you know, that are actually like you're tailoring, you're writing?
Well, now I'm all into new stuff. Like, so, but when I first started, like, the first two were short stories that I turned into. Penny came after.
Yeah, Penny was great.
I love Penny. That was my hardest shoot ever. But
why? Just because it felt more cinematic?
And the number of cast, and I mistakenly, again, every time you make a film, you make mistakes, and then you try not to make the same ones. But I mistakenly thought it was going to be easier to film because it's all in one house,
right? And
we were all staying in that house. That was up in like in Maine. The house is very, very cool.
Yeah, I remember that was wild.
The owner actually just wrote me because she's selling it. And she wants the film, and I was like, don't show the people you're trying to sell it to. It's like they will not want to live in there.
Why not? It's not like it's haunted. It's not like it's an exorcist thing.
A ghost
that's
in the
really
bathtub.
Funny,
that's not
though.
Actually a bathroom that I had to make into bathroom. Anyway,
no kidding.
So I had to do a lot of. Well, because again, so I'm thinking, okay, we're all in the house. This is great. The whole entire crew, like, you know, we don't have to have people coming in and out. We're going to be and we were very efficient. It's just like, I always overshoot the amount of work that's required. There were so many setups because you were doing 2 timelines in so many different spaces in the house. Right. And also everyone's shit was all over the house, so we'd have to move stuff constantly, which would take forever.
Yeah, because it's also a base camp. So that's...
Yes. Yeah, and feeding everybody.
Oh, boy.
And it was really, really fun. But
how many days?
It was 3 days. So
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun, though.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't sleep for, I slept probably 2 hours each night.
Well, it's 3 days, but you're also in Maine, so 1 day for traveling.
Yeah, well, it's only an hour from my house.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Still.
Yeah, so, but, I love that film. I think
that's really
came
cool.
out great. Yeah,
that is
really, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, but I mean, but it prepped you for bigger things.
Yeah,
bigger things, obviously. You know what I mean? But in the scale of things, right?
Yes.
Picking up a camera, making sure that it, I don't know, accentuates a certain thing or
right.
looks good. What lens are you going to use for certain things? And that's part of the whole cinematic experience that most people kind of just, goes over their head or they don't think about.
Oh, it's so important.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I'm
not, I'm not the cinematographer, but
but
I've
worked
with a different DP every film, not on purpose. I've liked all of them. And they've all.
What's that whole experience like?
It depends on the person. Uh-huh. So I've had to relearn that relationship every time. Depending on the film. And the film's different every time, too. And I'm looking for something different. So it's really about communication in figuring out the best mode to communicate with that specific DP to get what you want.
Are these local guys, or are you finding them?
So Sea Point was one of the guys was the one for Squirrels in the Attic, and then in The Company of Crows, he's also sort of at Sea Point, so the younger guys. And then for Penny, though, I wanted to work with a female, and so I'm on the board of Women in Film. I don't think I was on the board at the time, New England, and
no kidding.
So I was looking to our members because we have a lot of DPs, So when I was I'm gonna work with a female, so that's how I started that relationship, and.
So you're doing it right, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're networking in all the right places.
Yeah.
You're on a board for Women in Film, and wow! I never would have thought to even what's that like?
It's funny. It's a lot of work.
But that's how you network, though. You're building a community around everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
more or less the bottom line here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's been a really great, just sort of resource and platform for me, because we can plan events. I'm on the film festival committee, so we form partnerships with them as Women in Film to either do a panel of female filmmakers or just even sponsor a female block of films. We've provided a lot of opportunities. We do PA workshops.
No, that's amazing.
Stunt workshops. So there's this stunt woman who's actually from LA, Amy Green, and her partner Christensen. They're a big New Hampshire couple that lived in LA for a long time. They've done a lot of big movies, like Knives Out, and they did something with Paul Giamatti last year.
What, the Holdovers? The Holdovers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're involved in the big productions that come. And
That's
they're trying to bring more film to New England.
Wow.
So she was our keynote. We brought her in as keynote speaker for our annual meeting last year. So it's great. It's forging those connections with everybody to you just learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I was going to Wilmington North, this is really bringing me back to the what could have happened. You know what I mean? When I was living in North Carolina at the time, this was 2010 to 2014, but I'd moved there in 2008. So yeah, right out of high school, I moved there for college. Went there, went to a school called Cape Fear Community College.
Oh, love the name.
Which is because it was on the river, but yeah, it's one of the best named places. It was one of the most best. I needed that. My soul needed that. You know what I mean? Because if I came out here right away, I wouldn't have understood half of the things that you're talking about, because in terms of building a community, in terms of cultivating an atmosphere with filmmakers that you have in a town, whether it's big or small, right? We're just going to say, for all intents and purposes, Boston, as major of a city it is for film, it's pretty small of a town.
Oh, yeah.
You still know the same people. So, they film a couple of movies there, Wilmington, North Carolina, they filmed TV shows. They did Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, that kind of stuff, But it wasn't ever as opulent as it had been out here, ever, at a point in time. Right. And then now it's all of a sudden, I moved out here, COVID hits in 2020, at that point, I'd been out here 6 years, and I was just getting my feet wet when all of the bullshit starts happening, you know. And then it's just like, oh, okay, well, you know, that's more or less the lifestyle. Then I meet people who are just like, oh yeah, no, it's, you know, they're building a community now of all times. I'm like, that's the fucking way to do it. And it's just like, you know, when you're in these areas, I mean, everything's going independent anyway now. At least it feels that way.
Yeah.
So you're in a good spot. You're hitting it while it's hot. You know, while the iron's hot, you're doing all the right things. You're on a board. You're building relationships with people, you know, on every creative side possible. What's your work-life balance, though, in terms of, like, how do you just kind of keep yourself from going insane? You know, because it's like, because a lot of times, even when I'm around all this creativity and it's a lot of, like, just positive, you know, energy coming at you, a lot of times I'm just like, well, you know, what's next, or in my head, like, I'm always worried about another shoe dropping and being like, fuck, what's going to happen? You know?
Well, yeah, like, I know. And yeah, there's a lot of that right now.
Yeah. Cause I mean, really, like, again, like, you know, this shit ain't easy.
No,
you
God.
know? And so it's
hard.
like, you know, I mean, we could talk forever about, you know, how are you building a budget? How are you? I don't think people really care about that shit.
Right.
It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm more so interested about, like, you know, how, like, what kind of things can we bring to the table for other, you know, artists out there? You know what I mean? Like, of course, it's not easy, but it's not unattainable. Like, it's,
no,
you know what I mean?
It's not unattainable.
Yeah, you just have to start talking to people, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
and I think people get in their heads a little bit of like, like, I have to be, like, perfect to do something, or it has to be this big giant thing that I'm gonna do, and then they get overwhelmed even thinking about it. When you really can take your phone or whatever, like, if you want to make something, you can make something, and if you just even start there, is, you know, and I mean, it depends on what level you're at, but, like, you know, whenever I'm thinking about, like, what, like, projects or trying to manage my time and what I'm gonna do next, I sort of think of it in a timeline sense. I think we started talking about this earlier, like, about, like, I'm already thinking about what I'm gonna do next, because if I don't plan it now, I don't have to specifically plan it, but if I don't have an idea of when I'm going to shoot, whatever, like, a whole year can just disappear with the amount, like, you're busy with life and work, family. And so if I don't, again, go back to, like, I'm a planner. So I'm already like, okay, I think I'm going to have to shoot in the fall if I want another short. What I really want to do is a feature, but I don't have the budget.
Neither do I, and I still make these fucking idiotic features. You know what I mean? But, like, yeah, but no. I guess what I'm getting at is, like, what's the drive, and I mean that in a very generalized sense. With okay, yes. I mean, here's the thing. Like, you know, I mean, everybody's built different. Yeah. You know, the reason I started this podcast was more or less because I wanted to connect. I wanted artists to connect with people in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, to me, these stories are important because we're not famous. We're just everyday people. We're doing a thing. You know, you have a day job. But your day job is pretty nice considering, like, it's, you know, still, you know, pretty glamorous. Right? I mean, you're writing. You know, you could be anywhere you want to be, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You could focus on your personal projects, your things like that. So that's kind of where I'm trying to drill into people's heads. Like, hey, like, you know, just because it's the arts doesn't mean that you have to be a known entity.
Absolutely.
There's tons of people making movies everywhere, you know? It's kind of crazy. It's a little, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I also kind of, like, am giving myself a little bit of grief because, you know, of just where I'm at. But also, if I hadn't moved out here, none of these pieces would have actually worked.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's also this crazy endeavor that, you know, I'm trying to also inspire people to be like, hey, just fucking follow it.
Absolutely. I mean? Like, I totally feel that way.
Yeah. Like, what are your, I don't know, how does your, family think about this? What does your husband think? What do your kids think about this? Are they also inspiring? Is it one of those things that you're trying to like create an artistic wave? Because a lot of kids would be kind of like, oh, Mom, you're doing this again. Like, I know I would be a little bit, but it's also like really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
To
like,
say that they're super supportive, and they do think, I think it,
well, that's good.
Yeah, and they, they share with their friends, and
they get everyone involved.
Like, I have,
it becomes
especially
like
the early ones, like all my, like in the Company of Crows, all those school kids, they're all my kids' friends, because it was COVID and I had to use like who was available also, but like they thought it was the coolest thing ever.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
that's and then, really
like,
cool.
Even my new one, and my husband's awesome. He, like, if we're shooting locally, he's craft services.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he's very good.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and, cool. You put everyone to work.
I put everyone to work. They're free labor.
That's just incredible. I love that.
But it's like I love that they're seeing the process.
Yeah.
And they also see how hard it is.
Yeah,
and how hard it is for me to do this. In a good way. Like just
so then
like hard work. It's great to show anybody that.
Yeah, but like why filmmaking for you?
Okay, so
like why was it, what sparked this interest? I'm curious.
No, it's really funny. I think it was there all along. Forever. I just
because it has to be
together.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in order to go down this road, you have to be crazy enough to know, okay, I want to do this.
Yeah, but like I didn't like just consciously but I was that kid making horror films. Like I did that all the time in like family, like even like teenagers and going forward,
like with
my
like
college friends. So it's just
video cameras or just
like a video camera.
Yeah. Back in the day.
So I've always done this.
Wow.
Like, but never even considered it as like something to do.
Right.
And then, but I was also always writing. So, like, part of me is like, I really wish I had put those two together earlier. But also, I think you're supposed to get where you're supposed to get.
Hindsight 2020.
When you are.
I get that 100. Yeah.
Because if I didn't have my job, like, I wouldn't have had the job I have now, which has been a really great career for me.
Right.
And that it's also taught me a lot of things weirdly about writing. It's not creative writing, but it teaches you like different skills, right? Like, and I do media relations with them too, so there's a lot of skills that I've gotten out of that job, and also just a wonderful like scientific community, which is always great to be around smart people.
Yeah, do they ever help you with any advice or anything like you need for your projects?
I don't cross. Well, actually, it's funny. I was talking to Angela.
I mean, do you have any like colleagues that you can also reach out to? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, they're all really interested in it, right?
Wow.
They love it. They think it's fun,
best,
But there's part of them that are like, are you trying to leave here? And I was like, no, those two don't go together because I don't get paid for this other. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah. You have to be crazy to go down this road, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But we do it because we love doing it, I guess, is the bottom line.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like, and I can't, like, I love it. It's so satisfying. Like, I love that it's so hard. Like, it just makes it so much more satisfying when you're able to, it's almost miraculous every time, like, you are able to make a film work. Seriously, for me. I'm like, like, I was talking to somebody last night, who she's, starting with a couple of partners here, a new streaming platform, and they're interested in my work. And so we had dinner last night, and she's not the creative side of it. The guy she's partnered with are, and so she's very curious about the process and all that. So I was talking about all that, and I said to her, I was like, it is like miraculous. I was talking about all the pieces, like you try to get just for like a 2-day shoot.
Oh, I know.
Of how you got to get the people all in the same place where you're, and you got to get the place. And I mean, I'm saying it in a really like generic way, but like there's so many details.
No, the logistics.
Insane logistics.
Yeah, the logistics
are wild. For like a 2-day
wild.
shoot. Like,
I know.
Pre-production for me is the most absolute important part. Like, I will probably spend like 3 months like of solid work because I feel like that's where you can make it, because things will always happen during the shoot, right? So I feel like if you get that part as solid as you can, it's just the most important for me. And even like after, I always feel like I'm sort of a quiet director because I have to be like in my head because I'm always thinking about the story and the characters first.
For sure.
And so, like, I can be, I want to be, like, joking around with people on set and doing all this stuff, but I literally, I try to stay, like, in my head to maintain, we have our shot list, we have all the stuff in place.
Right.
But it's still, even with as prepared as you are, like, I try to keep it, like, running through my head of like what I want it. You want
to stay loose, but you also want to stay very rigid to the original concept.
Yes, because there's a lot of layers to my stuff.
Of course, yeah.
So it's very easy to mess it up.
I feel that.
So, I feel that. Like, yeah. So,
but you have a very a direct sense of where you're going. It's not like you're just pulling this out of your ass.
No, absolutely not.
Like, you're not. Yeah,
very
you're not
deliberate.
There was that thing. Oh God, there was that thing that Robert Rodriguez. I keep on going down this whole rabbit hole of like Robert Rodriguez old tidbits.
Yes.
But he was like 3 things that you have in your possession to make a movie. Go. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's so like vague. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but you're doing that though. You're basically using vague knowledge.
Yeah.
And you're going about this unknown. That's why the collaborations are so important, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And you work with the same actors on multiple things, right?
Yeah,
or you have at least.
I have. Like, there's crossover for sure.
Yeah. Is it all not part of the same universe, right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm trying to branch out because you gotta, you don't want to get old.
Yeah, no, I get it.
This new one.
But you're using people you trust.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the casting part for me, and I know you as an actor.
Oh no, you're good.
You like just from my standpoint, like getting the right person is like crucially important, like because again, I'm very specific with dialogue and the character and that character,
right?
What their role in the story is, and it's never who like you think it might be, but like I know when I find it, and then I work with that person because ahead of time, because once they know and make sure they know the character, and then once I feel that is right, then it's so easy on set. Like, then it takes very little directing, except for minor things. They have questions or they're, little minor tweaks. Whatever.
Sure, yeah.
But, yeah, it's funny for me. Like, I have, and I always mean to ask other writers this, but, like, when I write characters or even the whole story, like, you have the visuals in your head of who these people are and the place. And then, of course, they're made up. So, of course, you're never going to get what's in your head,
result.
Right?
Yeah.
But what's really weird to me is
God.
I have the original of all of my stuff in my head still, even though it wasn't replaced by the actual film.
Right, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course.
I think that's weird because
my biggest regret in Doug was I rushed the ending.
Yeah.
For me, you know what I mean? Because like in my head, I was like, I just need to get this fucking thing done. And I was like, it had taken me at that point. We had been shooting for almost a year.
Oh my God.
It was like 11 months that we've been shooting, and I was like, I am so tired of this. I had like senioritis with my own movie, basically, But the worst part about it, though, I think, was that I started cutting corners a little bit.
Did you? Yeah.
But I didn't have any money. You know what I mean? But like, also, I didn't have the wherewithal because I was just fresh in LA. I mean, like, 1 year here is 3 years everywhere else,
Right.
And when I started writing Doug, I was like in like the 2nd or 3rd year here. You know what I mean? And then it took me 5 years to write it. And I wasn't ready to actually, I was still like trying to make sure I wanted it to be perfect, whatever the fuck that means. I wanted it to feel right, but the universe was telling me all these things, and at a certain point I just had to own it. And I learned a lot about just location management with that one. I'm always learning location management because I feel like even with other projects, like unless I'm collaborating with other people and they find the locations, I'm never like the location itself is never good enough. You know what I mean?
So you did all that yourself. You found all.
Oh yeah, and it was a fucking nightmare. And I had to ask so many favors. At the end of the day, we ended up shooting at the Hollywood Tower.
Yeah.
Which like it felt right because after doing research, that building has actually inspired the Tower of Terror at Disney World.
Seriously?
But also, it's smack dab in the middle of Hollywood. So the visuals there are still pretty, you know? But like, there's a whole fucking 3-page conversation and by the 101 freeway, and it's fucking loud.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just like certain things in hindsight, and you're just like, well, when you're talking about putting a production together, and you're talking about presentation, and you're talking about things, I mean, forget it. Like, these independent little circuits, these little film festivals where like people locally do things and they like promote other people's work. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It's important. We need that. However, filmmakers also have to understand the importance of failing, which I'm very, no, I can't grasp that still. Like, you know what I mean? Because like,
what do you mean by failing?
Meaning like nothing comes out exactly the way you want it to. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like perfect example, right? Like what I should have done for Doug was, there's 2 things that I regret. The first thing I regret is, we did a shot of him, outside of his car and everything, and he just falls to the ground, and then he ends up, pretty much, presumably in purgatory, right? But the idea was that he has a heart attack and falls to the ground. I didn't realize until years later, and the worst ideas always come years later, usually when I'm driving on the road.
Always.
When it's like, fuck me, I should have had a deeper, maybe no one will notice. Maybe people will put it in their heads, right? Maybe, and I just think to myself, no, it's fine. I try to placate myself a little bit. No, it's fine. You did the best you could at the time, right? You did all you could. You did all you could, yeah. Right? And I'm trying to get that more so in my head, because it's really about all you can at the present moment in time. So what I mean by failing, it's like you're giving yourself grace to be like, okay, I made this decision, I fucked up, or I made the decision, it was the best I could do at the time. It's me trying to be a little bit glass half full.
Okay.
When I just, but as a filmmaker, you're putting all of this work in already. The attention to detail is there. You just said it yourself, like, it doesn't look exactly the way, like, in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean, because I wanted a fucking, like, mansion in the hills. Yeah. I didn't have, like, X amount of money. Like, we were in the Hollywood Tower fucking place for, like, 8 hours. That would have cost me $1,500, $2,000 just to get a fucking, like, I would have had to save up the whole year just for that ending location. And right. I didn't really have it. And at the time I was like, fuck me, I overlooked that maybe. But I learned for other things, like in hindsight, right. It's important for in hindsight, but it's like we're fucking artists, dude. We give ourselves how easy is it to be an artist in the world? It's impossible.
Right. And so I think it kind of goes back to your question, like what drives people or whatever, and like we all do that. Like all of my films, like there's always something, and
you wish you could have done.
Oh my God, there's like a million things. Yeah. Like, and even the latest one,
glad
like, it was only 2 days shoot. And, so I had to lose some elements that were important to me because of time.
Like what?
There's a fairy, there's like a fairy tale-esque element to it. So it's about a victimized college student who is partnered in biology lab during a pig dissection with the person who sexually assaulted her. Wow. So it goes back and forth between the lab and this surreal party in the woods, right?
I love it.
And that's why the editing is really rough, because it's going back and forth. And I knew this was a thing when we were filming. I was trying to shoot transition
parallel
shots.
storylines.
Yeah, so it's like going back and forth as she's remembering what happened at the party. And there's a fairy tale-esque sort of Little Red Riding Hood thing going on, like at a very subtle level. I love playing with fairy tales. And so there was some shots like, a wolf maybe shows up.
That's so funny. I love it. I love it.
There was some fairy tale stuff, like at the cabin. I really wanted, it turns into this sort of fairy tale cabin inside at a certain point, and I just didn't have the resources to turn it visually into what I wanted it to be. Money wise,
right?
Also,
but you got it.
I'm the set dresser. Like I don't hire somebody to do that. Whatever. So I lost some things that I, would have loved. Like if I had more money, but even some I guess narrative things in any one of your shorts will, like Penny. I had to lose a ton because we were doing 15-hour date. It was insane.
That's crazy.
And the little girl, the little Penny, who was 8 at the time.
Oh yeah, did you do?
She was like up at like 1 o'clock in the morning at one point, like, and we were shooting. I was like, we need to stop this. This is horrible.
I don't really condone like child labor shit.
No, but the thing is, the mother
was she cool with it?
The actor mother was her mother in real life. So her mother was right there.
So her mom was acting in the movie
with her
alongside.
She was her daughter in the movie.
That's incredible.
I couldn't believe it. Like
Allison, you got fucking lucky.
And Ava, and I'm really good friends with her. But like no, so it was great because I was struggling to cast that right because that was super important.
Of course.
And I also
how the hell did you find that?
So I knew Charlie Carr, who you know.
I know Charlie, yeah.
So I knew she was going to be Penny. So I was trying to match a kid with her and also like try not to have like a stage mom involved.
Oh my God.
And I got a lot of applications from the South, like an 8-year-old, and I never worked with a child before, so I was nervous about that. And I had to make her look like it could have been her when she was 8.
Right.
And so Allison, who we had been in contact, like she had missed the casting call for In the Company of Crows, and she's like, I would have loved that part. And so we just sort of stayed in touch, and she was very supportive. And then she reached out. She saw my casting call, and she reached out, and she's like, oh, I'm going to submit. But by the way, my daughter, Ava, and I, we just did a BU student film, if you want to look. And so she's done a little acting, too, and she's 8.
Wow.
She sent me the film, and I'm like screenshotting it, like putting Charlie's face in her eyes. I knew there was going to be an eye shot, so I screenshot Charlie's eye and Ava's eye, and I was like, no way. And so right then I was like,
that's
and they
so
were really
spooky.
good. They were good acting, and I was like, I knew they got it right away, but I finished the rest of the things. I was like, I gotta get the mother-daughter duo. So
that's
like,
remarkable.
Thank God. Like, if it were an 8-year-old who like,
I mean, because
wasn't there, I felt guilty anyway. But I was
no, because I remember Penny. I remember watching it at Sherman Oaks, or was it Film Invasion?
I can't remember where.
One of Jeff's festivals.
It was one of Jeff's, yeah.
And well, you can't remember. It's your fucking movie. Come on.
Sorry.
I'm fucking with you. I'm messing with you.
It was
I'm kidding. It was
Film Invasion.
But it had to have been, right? It had to have been. I don't know. It was one of Jeff's. It was one of Jeff's. But no, I loved it. I thought it was great. And I was like more so impressed by like how you did Squirrels. But like between Squirrels and Penny, it felt like miles ahead from what you had done previously, you know?
Yes.
Like it felt like a like, oh fuck, Rachel's making a cinematic movie here.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like,
well,
she was onto something.
I've been
you
learning.
know?
Like,
yes, and it's all. I got you.
Learn.
Yeah,
that's what it's about, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, right? You know, because on one hand, it's like. Really, I mean, film school doesn't teach you any of the shit. You never went to film school.
I did not.
Which is something that I need to highlight because, you know, I tell everyone, like, all of this can be learned pretty easily in your backyard, but it's also, like, you know, a lot of people don't understand it. Like, I've had, you know, hour-long conversations with a buddy of mine on which cable is the right cable for his microphone. Hour-long conversations. And how do I plug this in? I just told you how to plug it, you know, and I love doing these. I love troubleshooting for people, but it's incredible in how no one has ever put pen to paper like you have, boots on the ground like you have, made sure the movie comes out the way that it does, you know, according to your original, as close to your original vision as possible.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, what is your, I mean, obviously you're trying to do this so you get, you know, money for the next one and the next one and the next one, but do you think that there's, you know, like, do you think there's some merit to just doing shorts?
I do.
And just focusing just on that, because I don't know if anyone's going to be making feature films anytime soon anymore.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always, you know, the goal, right? When
just to make something, see what happens.
No, to get to the feature.
Right?
Oh,
for sure, right?
Yeah, and I think there's some of that as well.
I mean, you can definitely make one, but again, you know, it's like
someone gives me some money.
I don't even know if it comes down to money necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, it does,
I
yes.
have features written that I want to make. There's one I'm dying to make right now.
Yeah, like it comes down to money.
Yeah.
You know, in the classic sense of it, right?
Yes.
But also at the same time, though, even big productions run out of money.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
And no one wants to say that, but I mean,
no.
But you need this grassroots training.
Well, exactly, and that's why I'm doing it. Like, and I think that, you know, and I take each short very seriously, like as its own thing. And oftentimes, like I think I tell big stories for the most part in my shorts, because that's just the type of storyteller I am.
Yeah.
And I do get a lot of people in almost every one saying, "You make this. I need more. I need more of this story. Why don't you make it into a feature?"
Though. Big story, small package.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, but also too, like, don't you agree that attention spans are kind of dying?
Yes, absolutely.
And there's some merit to, okay, well, maybe 20 minutes is the new 60. Maybe 30 or 40 is the new 90, right?
It's sort of going that direction.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if features won't ever go away.
They'll be there. They'll exist.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of value in shorts.
Well, because, think about it, like, your regular Netflix show is what, like 30 to 45, right?
Yeah.
And most people are they're binging episodes.
Right.
Because they're easier to digest, That's why I cut Destination Hollywood down to like an hour.
Right.
Because of that reason. And it's
still considered a feature.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think you could play with the words a little bit now. Featurette.
I think so, too. I mean, maybe we just, like, stop
something
labeling
new.
them.
Yeah. Oh, no, 1,000%. Because you need to... But that's... I mean, what kind of world will it be without labels? Let me tell you. Like, well, where do you think you are, girl? This is Hollywood. Come on.
I was back in Boston.
No, I know. But that's kind of what I want to get to. Do you think that, do you think that there is some sort of... I don't want to say, like merit, but, like, do you think that you have a sort of an upper hand living in a town that isn't really surrounded by all the bullshit?
Maybe.
The movie bullshit and the posters everywhere. I mean, what's the first thing you noticed when you got to LA? Like, really, what is it? It's
yeah. I mean, you see all the billboards and the Hollywood.
But it must be nice.
I think there's definitely advantages.
Yeah,
and it feels like less pressure. Like I feel like you can more so do your own thing without expectations of what you should be doing.
God, I love how you said that. Seriously. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, fuck, man. It's
right?
so true.
I know, because I feel like you always feel like there's this pressure on you, and this is also your actual
That's
career.
who I am, though.
Yeah, that's
no, but you're right, though. I mean, we do put this benign amount of pressure. I think that's just adults, period. But I mean,
I think so. I mean, I put expectations on myself, but nobody knows what they are except for me.
That's smart.
You know what I mean?
Smart.
And I think there's also freedom that I have in that. I do think, as much as I would love to do this as, a paying job or a career, maybe eventually, but like, I think I love the fact that there is a freedom in, like, I can or cannot do something. I don't have to do it. Like, I'm doing it because I want to. And that's actually really great. And I think I might enjoy it more because of that. So,
literally a buddy of mine asked me the same question.
Really?
Well, because I ask everyone the same thing. Like, why do we do what we do?
Yeah.
And this guy's been an LA native,
Yeah.
And so he's seen the rise and fall and the rise again and the fall again. And now whatever the fuck this is, So, but yeah, why do you do what you do? And I think you just said it perfectly, because you want to.
Because I want to do it.
Yeah.
And, you get a lot of,
It's a nice, refreshing take.
Yes, I know. It doesn't make it less hard. I want to tell everybody that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's still just as hard.
Exactly.
Which you can't even explain to people, I think, who are not doing this. Because it looks very glamorous, right? And, that's part of social media, too. Like, we're trying to make it look glamorous.
Well, I mean, but it's true, though, because, I mean, a lot of my friends, they're still out in Florida, and I have a lot of people out in, but, like, Florida doesn't have a scene.
Right.
There's, it's you go to Atlanta for that shit,
Yeah, exactly.
And I hate that feeling that, here in the States, there's all these little hubs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess it's pretty natural, right? I mean, you have hubs for like flight attendants and shit, right? But it's like, New York, Boston area, that the Northeast has a hub, right?
Yeah.
Southwest has a hub because, you have, now Vegas, but like a lot of these places you still have to drive to. My biggest pet peeve, where I'm coming from with that, is, when I was in Wilmington, people literally had like, their foundations, like they had houses, they had places that they were living in, and all of a sudden, you're telling me that, my job's going to fucking Atlanta? which is like a couple of 100 miles away. And it's just this whole like petty stripped down version of what, you know, dare I say, certain forces outside of our control kind of expect from people.
Right.
I would just like to have it be like, oh, I don't know, I can fucking live life as an artist, maybe. Now it's like maybe, but like, you know, you used to be able to say, oh no, I'm you know, I work in the film industry, and people fucking knew, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like this guy, you know, now it's literally a traveling circus.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but that's where I'm coming from with like the hubs thing, but it's nice to know that now in 2025, 2026, we're not really exposed to those certain things. You know, you can do things, but I don't know. Have you heard of that new company called Real? I think it's called Real Short or something like that. REEL Short. No. So there were a couple of smaller companies when Circles was hitting the rounds at festivals. Right, there was like this one company called Reveal.
Oh, I know that. That's local to us.
Is it really local to you? Mm-hmm. Okay, they hit me up. This was years ago. I thought they were a scam. I didn't know what the fuck they were, you know. I thought they were a bunch of nobody guys, right? And they were like, no, we're trying to build like a website to promote artists' work. And in my head, I'm like, how are you going to do that? You know what I mean? Then Quibi happens, right? Oh. Okay, and then COVID happens, so then Quibi shuts down, right? But then a few years later, there's another one called I think it's called Real Short. And it's a Chinese-based company, and they do a lot of vertical short series. And then I thought of Reveal again. And I was like, oh my God, that's kind of what they were trying to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it wasn't really like companies try to outpace or outdo each other. But it's one of those things where like now there's a very much like farm to table, like kind of direct access to all this shit where you can just get it out into the internet and people will watch it. Right. So it's like nice that you're doing short content, but I mean that's kind of where I'm like, do you think that that's all we're gonna have? I don't know. Where it's just these little, you know, easier to make, and then the distribution is all on your phone, or you know what I mean? I mean, right. So yeah, I think that's so like works in progress with like the person I was meeting with last night, like their new platform coming out. I do have a Squirrels in the Attic is on Reveal. Like, yeah. So is Circles, but I haven't. Is it okay? Yeah. I don't know if it's still on there, but
yeah, maybe. I haven't looked. Like I don't know if that.
Do they keep up with you?
Let's talk after.
I'll cut that out if you need me.
Yeah. no, I have different stories about that, but yeah, we'll chat later.
1, 2, in case I have to, but yeah, but no. So like, but I mean, you know, do you think that like, you know, with your other projects that you have coming out now, I mean, because you're here for the Pasadena Film Festival for another short. Yes. Is that going to end up on YouTube, for instance?
Okay, so far I don't have any of my shorts on YouTube. Because, and the reason I haven't done that, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I do, you know, part of why you make it is for people to see it. Right. But there's been opportunities that have come up with my past shorts in different contests that they wouldn't have been eligible. Like I was very close to winning a big chunk of money, which would have worked, which would have gone into in the company. I get it. And that would have gone into my next short. You know, I think I made it to the top 10 or something, and it would have been like $10,000, which would have been a nice little change to go into. Like anything I make from them, I would just put into whatever I'm making next. So I'm always a little hesitant that way. So they are on some platforms like behind walls that people have come on. I forgot where else. Like, so anyway, and I'm in talks with the Yow TV, which is up now, but like they're gonna have a launch in July. You know, and they might have me as a featured artist. We'll see, like, because I have a lot of material. So like, you know, and then you can go on my page and see my shorts there. So, I mean, I think there's, you know, people are just coming up with so many different ways to do this. But there's, I mean, the thing for me is like, there's so much content. Like, you know, how do you find it? How do you find what to watch? How do you get people to watch yours other than sharing, you know?
I mean, I've been taking cues from the comedians, really.
Like, so what do you mean? Like that?
Like just like the podcasts I listen to, a lot of them are just comics.
Yeah.
But most of them are getting burned by Netflix.
Okay.
And so what they're doing now, the trend really is what I think is going to end up happening is everything's just going to end up on YouTube because YouTube is worldwide.
Right.
My roommate, all he does is watch shit like this. This will end up on YouTube 1,000%. And, you know, people use it for information. They'll use it. They'll turn whatever on. I know people who like do yard work and stuff around the house listening to just general podcasts. You know?
Oh, for sure.
But the information seeps. You hear this thing. It seeps through your head, and you understand it differently. You know, and some people are nerds. They'll listen to it a million times. You know, but I really do believe that it's on you as the artist, the, you know, that's what I mean by taking cues from comedians, where like the comedians are basically, they're going on their own podcast or they're going on peers' podcasts who are also comics. What do you have to promote? Well, I have a new special on YouTube. You can check it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're all, but the reason they're doing it on YouTube is because they can monetize it, or they couldn't really get it onto a distribution platform, or their stuff was too risque that they wouldn't get it on Netflix.
Okay.
And a lot of, like, you know, if you notice, like, the Netflix is a joke comics, like things like that, like if you ever notice that kind of shit, which I have to pay attention to the trends, that's all I do.
Sure.
But what I've noticed is all of the guys they have on Netflix as a joke, it's part of the Rogan community, you know? So it's like guys who are already big.
Yeah.
But they're established. Okay. And they're playing out arenas, they're doing all that other shit. Like, to be a comic like that, you know, it's like 20 years in the game, right? So to be a filmmaker where you're basically like making big stuff, you either have to have gone to a big film school,
right?
You know, USC or whatever the fuck, or UC, you know, maybe UCLA, I don't know. But you had to have gone through maybe, you know, a big program and then have made something heavy, light, whatever. It used to be easier, I want to say in 2011, you know, like people had DSLRs, they were just going out to make whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But now it's very, very much the longer game, and I think the longer you spend in it, the longer and longer it gets. So it's like, you're never done promoting your old work, you're always promoting your own shit, but it's also, where can people find Rachel? Where can people actually access your work? Where can people, and that is the real ticking time bomb thing, where it's like, you know, yeah, shit's on social media, but like, you know, you could put your entire short on Instagram if you really wanted to,
right?
You know, but I understand, like, you know, time sensitive labor and all that other stuff with like other things in the works,
right?
But it's like, you know, I mean, if people know you, they could find you. You
For
know?
sure.
You have a very wide internet presence, so you know, just look you up,
right?
But people are lazy.
Right. And again, so you get lost like, in a sea of, like, you know, millions of people.
Yeah. I mean, so. but you know, I mean, I guess, like, you know, that's where I'm coming from. Like, again, why do we do what we do?
Right.
You know, I mean, you do it because you want to do it because you love doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so. But that's the best part of it, you know.
It is.
So.
I'm just trying to, my shorts are a way to, not prove myself, but, you know, just have some substantial things to show what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And how I can continue to improve.
That's the best.
So that's always my goal. Whatever I'm making next, and I try to, like, story wise, I try to, you know, I try to be as diverse as possible. And not be making the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
And then my stories are very different from each other. But again, after a while, you know, they could all start to blend together. So I have to be very careful about, you know.
I mean, you're on a very gothic trend here.
Yeah, and my stuff is it's always dark. Although, okay, so here's an interesting, like, so I did, and actually it's pretty dark. But so last year we also shot a no-budget film, and we went down to Fort Lauderdale and filmed it there with a couple filmmakers, a comedian too.
What was his name?
Brian Drolet.
Okay.
He used to live here.
Yeah.
He was on.
It's funny because buddy of mine.
He was on The Hills. The MTV's Hills.
God.
He was one of those guys. But again, he's much older.
That's back in the day.
That's way back in the day.
Oh my god!
So anyway,
I had a great conversation with somebody about that recently.
Did you?
I'll tell you about it later. Yeah, it's funny.
Brian's great. So, but it was a collaboration so we were at Austin Revolution Film Festival. My creative partner Jackie and I, and we were there for something last year, Cult, and we were hanging out with Hoyt Richards, who actually is an LA guy who. he was the first male supermodel, and he ended up in a cult for 20 years. He's very open about this. I'm not telling anything.
No shit.
He's a cult survivor.
Wow.
Whatever. He's the greatest guy. So anyway, we were hanging out with Hoyt and Brian, and we just had a great time with them at the festival. And on the way home on the plane, Jackie and I were like, oh, like they'd be so fun to film something with. And I was like, I'm gonna write something. And I wrote something in like a couple of days, and it was like a dark comedy. Like I'd had the idea for this already, so it didn't come out of the blue, but I fit them into it, which I've never done. And then I sent it to them like the next week, and I was like, I just wrote the script, and again, dark comedy. It's not like my normal thing, right? So so we went down to Fort Lauderdale. Brian had all the stuff. We needed like a pool and whatever. And he's like, why don't you guys just come down here? And he has a camera. His roommate's a DP. So we did it like, other than getting to Florida, we did it for nothing, right?
Wow.
And like every time it screens, right? So it's screened at a couple of festivals, probably 3 or 4 now. It like won the audience award. It won, it gets a great reaction. Like people die laughing, right?
That's the
because
best.
Again, it's really great. But like I've never had so many rejections from festivals before. So
here we go.
Right? So and let me clarify that, but like all my films always get rejected. Like that is just part of the thing. In case people think that my stuff gets into everything,
naturally.
That is absolutely not the case.
Right.
I have pretty good stats, but again, you just deal with a lot of rejection no matter what.
1,000%.
But this was like different, and I'm very curious about it because when people, and I'm just wondering if it's because it's coming from me and it's not expected in the tone. Even though it turns super dark. So it's there. But you got to get through the beginning.
Yeah. No,
right?
Yeah,
so I was like, do they?
Yeah.
And again, maybe they just don't like it, which is fine. But when people do actually watch the whole thing, they love it. And it screened at Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival.
Maybe it's just a certain thing about time. Maybe it's just too long,
The actual...
The short, yeah.
No, it's super short.
How long is it?
It's like, I don't know,
5
minutes or something.
Oh,
It's short.
Maybe people are just lame. I have no idea.
Well, I'm just... That's the curious part of this business.
Of course.
And I'm not saying they should love it, but I'm like, people who do see it love it. So I'm like, it's just really interesting to me.
Right.
So I'm like, I do write a lot of dark comedy actually, but now I'm like, I'm a little hesitant to like,
maybe keep pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, that's true.
Because fuck them, right? Most people don't even know what they like.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's just, I think that, the cart could be losing its wheels and they'll still watch it,
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, no matter what, people don't even know what they want. They respond to whatever.
No, it's true.
A lot of it is
I'm going to send that to you and see what you think.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I mean, I like a lot of your stuff already, so it's just because it comes from a good place, but it's also like very genuine, you know. And so, and I know you've been tinkering with your style for a very long time.
Yeah.
Not just like visually, but like writing style,
Yeah.
So
I think I have a specific voice, and it's deliberate for
absolutely.
sure. And I spent a lot of time honing each story. Like people would be like surprised at how much I put into like.
I feel like you have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
I do feel like some people like don't spend enough time with the writing aspect because it's so important.
Yeah, instant gratification is really a nightmare.
Yeah,
it
typically doesn't work.
How do you think I feel?
You don't have Instagram. It takes you you put a lot into stuff. Mm-mm. No? Mm.
No, I trust me, with this podcast especially, I've been doing this podcast for over 13 months, some odd, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lauren Michael said it takes 18 months to know what a show actually is. I think I've kind of figured out what this show is, and it's been like 14 or 15 months, I think. I started last January, so around that time, right? But even then, nobody's fucking listening. I have like 6 fans, basically,
Well, it always takes forever to
But that's not why I do it, you know?
Exactly.
And that's the thing, is that I think it's more important to build a catalog than actually have things, you know what I mean? Because, anybody can do this. I mean, shit, man, this whole thing is just, again, it's an experiment, and I think that a lot of it is just kind of like, how far can we really go, so, and it turns out that, I don't think people really care, I think people care more about the information. I don't think they care about, a lot of just the production hoopla, you know what I mean? Like, a buddy of mine was like, wow, your podcast sounds so good. I was like, really? Well, we're doing it in my room. What makes it so different than yours? And then I heard the style of theirs, and I was like, oh, okay. Now I see.
It does sound good when I.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate
it's really
that.
high quality, but that actually matters a lot. Because I'll turn something off if it doesn't sound good, because it's distracting.
And that's what I'm talking. Yeah, no, and I get it too. I mean, it's just like some people don't have the charisma, or it's just like they just kind of read. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I kind of think of it as like, okay, this is the real deal. This is what I'm mostly curious, because I love talk radio.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want people to understand, and my phone conversation started feeling like a fucking podcast. Like, I'm like, I should fucking start a fucking podcast. Like, literally, like, I'm asking people the same questions over the phone. I'm like, and then I realized, oh, fuck, we were on the phone for an hour and a half. You know what I mean?
Podcast.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. Would have been a great episode, You know how many lost episodes there are. But at the same time, though, like, it's hard doing what we do. Mm-hmm. Not many people know this world, or they want to criticize this world. And so I try to kind of, I just want to talk to people like you. And I've talked to a lot of people and who are who previously worked in the industry as like other things, like as crew members, and a lot of them are like, yeah, no, I definitely would not be a good guest. Or I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, like that the people want to know this shit,
Absolutely.
Like I had a conversation with a guy who did locations. And
That's
he's like,
amazing.
And he's like, oh, the horror stories I tell you. And I was like, yes, please. And his wife was like, no, Mark, you really shouldn't. And I was like, you're right, honey, I shouldn't. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, how dare you make up your mind right then and there that you don't want to do this?
And people would love that. I would love to hear those.
But we're small. We're a small majority, right? It's like,
I don't think so. I don't know. I think
I think people industry wise, right? Dude, there's 18 million people in Los Angeles County.
Oh my God.
Only a third of them work in the industry. Maybe a quarter of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really tiny, the percentage wise of because you forget that people are just trying to live their lives, and then there's this fucking circus parade happening all the goddamn time where you can't fucking park, and then the trucks make it harder, and they're like, but we're trying to make art, and they're like, well, fuck you, I got to get to my appointment. You know what I mean? Like, it's like literally that happens all the fucking time. It's like, in a lot of ways, I'm like, no wonder Wilmington, North Carolina voted against this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no wonder people don't want filmmaking, Yeah. But, like, again, like, then they start watching shit on TV,
Well, I think, there's a disconnect there for sure.
Oh, 1,000%, yeah.
Yeah, like, art. But I was like, almost everybody.
Well, we saw that during COVID.
Absolutely. That's all people had.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I do think that most people have that disconnect. But...
And then it'll always, whatever, right?
So we'll just keep making the content.
I'm just glad that you're, despite all the bullshit, you're keeping the faith. You haven't changed a bit in like since 2018 when I first met you. You know what I mean?
It's true. I'm like a positive. It's great. I'm so excited to be part of this. Seriously.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
No, this has been a long time coming. And I was trying to get you to be a guest. I'm glad we did it in person and not over fucking Zoom or Riverside.
Yes, it's much better.
Because I think that you lose that, that kind of like sense and, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, so what's next after the Pasadena Film Festival run with Fenwick? Like, are you doing other projects currently, or
so Dissection Day, as soon as that's done, I'll get that out.
Dissection
Day, Day.
Yes, Dissection Day.
So that will be, that's next up for do the festival.
Very cool
things, probably start submitting in the spring when it's done. And then I've been doing a lot of writing lately, so that I'm excited about. Good. Like new shorts. Yeah. I have a couple of features in the works. That obviously takes longer. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna keep making stuff and see what I'm going to film next.
I love it. Keep
going.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Any pluggables, really quick, before we go? Any pluggables? Where can people find you, Rachel?
They can find me on Instagram at Rachel Spooner Thomas. And my website is the same, www.rachelspoonerthomas.com. So
Very cool.
I got to update my website. But check out all, you can see all the trailers there and everything. And Jackie Kernander and I are actually starting a new production company called Fatale Films.
No shit.
Because at Dissection Day, we don't have an umbrella to put it under, so we're let's start one. So I am working on that website.
Very
and we're working
cool.
that's where Dissection Day is going to live, and we'll maybe have some other services and projects.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And seriously, congratulations on all the festival runs.
Thank you.
the contests, you know, I mean, those are big deals, you know, like,
thank you.
Because you never know where they're going to lead. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Well, yeah, that's it.
Thank you.